always the worst thing in the world because the basic idea is it's the most retakeable site in the game. Like, statistically, percentage-wise, I think it's something like 60-odd% that it gets retaken. So it's not like it's anything too crazy to let the bomb go down. The only problem is, in those pistol rounds, really you want to have someone up close to actually stop that from happening because of that very reason, that it just supports the money so much. But as I said, the buy, it's not the worst in the world. They will have to skimp a little bit on utility, but the T's, it feels like they were pretty confident in how that one went, so they're going to throw the same smokes again. Now, this time, they are actually smoked out. There isn't too many aggressive positions. It will be Def trying to get a little bit forward, and maybe Ape can go for a bit more of a rotation again. He doesn't, of course, have a UMP anymore. He actually has a rifle.
Yeah, but it's going to be Surreal to open things up. Does take down Bolts. Keeps the aggression going, but the bomb's going to go down. Finds one through the smoke on Lucas as well. So a nice turnaround here is Complexity just completely shutting this one down. It is all going to fall in a Heli 1 versus 3. He's already got 2 frags to his name, has to ace it for the win. And well, Uber, he's not going to let that happen. Takes him down from Ivy. And that's going to be the 3rd round on the board now for Complexity. So a nice retake there of that A site. Swift and aggressive, and some amazing shots landed on the back of Surreal.
Yeah, no, that second shot was a little bit ridiculous, and starting things off as well, it was sort of the difference, because you have to remember in the last round they didn't really have that sort of opening pick. So for him to get both of those, it really just helped them in just shutting down any push that was available. Now, a bomb plant will come in, but it's not going to be enough for Immortals to actually do anything. So they're just going to opt to save. They want to get a buy back on the board, which I think is a smart decision to make. A lot of long-range positions. They could have tried to rush B once again with the pistols, but I think that has sort of been adjusted by Ape. You can already see he's playing a little bit closer now after the fact that they've got the bomb down so easily in the rounds before. But will they make it 5 out of 5 rounds? They've got the bomb down every single time, and we'll see if that's going to be the case again.
Yeah, throwing some smokes to execute out towards this A site once more. This time, 4 players here for the side of Complexity to try and meet this with heavy resistance. Not going to be going aggressive around the smokes. They have managed to work their way out into the site nicely, but they're going to be boxed into a kill zone here as Android, Def, and Uber all pick up a frag apiece. Android finding 2. Now it's all on Phelps, and he's just trying to bide his time, but Surreal spots him out, takes him down with the Oos, and it's going to be 4-1. Complexity, they take a 3-round lead, and they prevent the legacy of that bomb going down every single round. So there you go, a nice way to stop that, and it's right in its tracks.
No, and it was actually quite an important bomb plant as well, because it limits the buy of the T's, because well, you can already see Zeus doesn't have any nades, doesn't even have head armor. You've got Bolts, who's had to drop down to a Galil just to get both of those things. Henny won't have any Kevlar at all behind the AWP. So that bomb plant, the extra $800 per player, would have been very valuable to them. So for sure, that's a decent round coming up from Complexity. One that's expected from the CT side, but stopping the bomb plant is important. And, well, as said, Henny, he's got no armor, and that is the difference. Already taking 75 damage from that nade.
Yeah, and he kind of has to be the linchpin in this one to take down Surreal and kind of get things going, because he can put down so much hurt with that AWP on the long angles that he can shut down these plays, and that's already what we've started to see. It's already what has been happening, but it's actually Phelps to start things off. Does take down Def out towards the outside area on A, but Surreal's going to be the one to return things back into a 4-on-4. Takes down Bolts. Just trying to kind of make a little bit of pressure on towards that B site. Just gets stopped in his tracks, taken down. And now it's going to be the 4-on-4 scenario. We are seeing Immortals once again setting up to try and make something happen on towards this A site. You've got Lucas down by Pop Dog, Henny, and Phelps both over towards A, and then Zeus slowly but surely making his way down Ivy. So they're in a very good place to split out onto the site. Sadly, as Phelps falls, they lose a lot of their manpower going into this one.
Yeah, and he pushes out fairly individually as well, which doesn't really help them too much. Henny is there to trade things back to a 3 versus 3, and I think Zeus is going to have quite a lot of an impact here. The timing doesn't quite work out for him, and Android is just too quick. Takes him down. Henny will in fact hit the tag, but very quickly traded out by Android. A decent round coming out from him, and are they going to pick up the secondary up? It doesn't look like they are, so very happy with the single at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just was not enough. And, well, now we're going to be seeing Complexity with 5 on the board. So they've actually been able to do a good job of stringing these first whole bunch together. They take 3 in a row now out from Immortals. And, well, we're going to be seeing them back onto a pistol by PT-50s across the board. And a smoke to try and play around with into this one. Going to be seeing that on the back of Phelps, I believe. But it's going to get thrown out onto the site almost immediately. And does allow a little bit of coverage. Trying to make their way out. Once again, looking like A is going to be the site in question, so they haven't really tried making their way into this B site. And a really weird over-rotate now towards B. I think Complexity reading this as a fake, trying to be a little bit too smart. as they rotate, what, 3 of their players in towards B, and now the push is coming out towards A. Uber's pushed up really aggressive. He fed them a bunch of false information, thinking that A was going to be clear. Little did he know that Immortals, they're already crawling over this A site. Def gets taken down. They win control of the site. Uber coming in from behind is going to be the one to try and turn things around. They make up for his previous shortcomings, but he gets taken out by Lucas. And now it's a 4-on-3. Make that a 2-on-4. As Android is going to fall. Surreal coming in from CT, finds one on a Henny, puts it back into this 2v3, with only the one-man advantage going the way of Immortals, but still, it is such a huge advantage to have. Bomb is ticking down, and Complexity, they're fast running out of time.
We are looking towards this CT side already. They'll lose Surreal, and it is just down to 1. And, well, a really big round from Lucas coming in there. 3 kills off the back of picking up a rifle. And out of all the rounds that they've just had, the one that they managed to win is that one. As you said, it seemed like a pretty poor read coming out from Complexity. They completely abandoned the site, and, well, I just don't really know what happened there. Something went wrong. They will be able to buy back up, so at least that's the sort of light at the end of the tunnel. They're going to be able to come back with a buy, and maybe it'll work out for them if they can reset Immortals' economy.
Yeah, it would leave them in a very good place. I mean, either team now in danger of being reset. Whoever takes this one should put the other team on the back foot for the next round at least, unless Immortals, of course, can get that bomb down, something they have been good at doing. If Immortals take it, well, then Complexity, their economy is going to be fairly ruined. I mean, you've got $1,900 on 8, but that's really the only thing you could shout about. Everyone else having, what, just over $2,000 between them. So it's not going to be looking too great for this side of Complexity either. A lot does fall onto the outcome of this one round. And, well, we can be seeing Immortals taking a much slower, more passive style of play straight off the bat. With 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, they spend the first kind of little bit of time trying to get the feel for what's going on, trying to spot out any aggressively pushed up members of Complexity. Complexity, well, meeting this passive play with more passive play of their own, aren't going to be finding that just yet. And while it's actually Uber to start things off, takes down Zeus through the smoke in towards Ivy, suddenly this A push kind of gets dismantled a little bit because they lose that 3rd prong.
Nice position from Def, but he actually gets blinded and sprays wildly, takes Phelps down to just 7 HP. The AWP is still standing on Henny, but hasn't had much of an impact just yet. We're waiting to see him pounce and find at least one of the kills. Now, 30 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is still all the way back in A main. They are going to have to go back and retrieve this, and leaving themselves with quite a limited amount of time to actually get it down. Android, well, he's low, and the push is going to come in. Lucas finds one, gets the second as well. He's been phenomenal in this game so far, and actually opening up these sites. Surreal, Ape trying their best, and Surreal will grab one more. Henny somehow not hitting the shot, and both players completely missing. He's run out of time. He has to go for the kill, but Surreal
didn't peek, then that round would have gone the way of Complexity, but I don't think he... Well, hang on, no, he knew that he didn't have the bomb.
Yeah, it comes up on the map. I think in the heat of the moment, just mistakes have been made, and, well, here's the man who really brought this round through, getting them very well done, but that is a big mistake to make from Surreal. Unfortunately, doesn't actually... clearly, he just didn't realize. That's all it is. He wanted to take the challenge, and it doesn't pay off. And all that means, really, is that Immortals have got a round that they probably didn't deserve. Leaving that bomb back so far, I don't know what the plan was there, but either way, that leaves the economy, as you said, done for Complexity.
Yeah, and that round, I mean, it's got to be tilting. Let's be real, okay? That would have me like 90 degrees sideways tilted to the...
You've got no, UK players don't tilt.
Oh yeah, that's one of our renowned qualities. But Phelps and Lucas are going to be starting this thing off for the side of Immortals. Find 2 frags straight out the gate. Phelps looking to do more damage as well. Does spot out Def. While he's here with a PT-50, he's going to be lethal at close range, but he's not going to be lethal with a bullet in the cranium. A proven tactic of dispatching of your foes, and it's also going to allow Immortals to make their way up in towards this A site. Ape, once again, going on another one of his notorious flanks. Down Pop Dog, does have 100 HP and a PT-50. Uber's managed to grab himself an AK, which I imagine he's just saving because, you know, 1 HP and a dream. And it's all going to be on Ape ready to try and find a little bit of damage into this one, potentially grab a gun, and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah, well, Uber basically has to make sure he doesn't stub his toe anywhere on his way out there, because he is on his last legs for sure, and saving that AK would be a huge added value for them going into the next round. Now, in terms of Ape, yeah, as you said, all he can really do is hope to do the same, get an exit frag and steal away a rifle going into the next one. Of course, the dream scenario is the AWP, but more importantly, we've got to look towards, well, the flank coming in. Will Phelps actually be able to take this rifle? No, he won't. So Uber's actually dropped another one. Now, they're all going in his direction, so really, he should be able to take this out of his hands, but it doesn't look like they're particularly challenging this. They should know exactly where he... Oh, wow.
Oh, no, Uber. Oh, that's embarrassing. Right, I think we should just all take a pact and pretend like we didn't see that. I mean, NACS gets a lot of heat going its way a lot of the time.
I feel
like
he was okay.
I feel like Uber's just contributed to that just that little bit more. As
I genuinely thought he was far enough away, but I guess not.
But regardless, okay, Uber goes down, and as a result, they lose the gun they'd worked so hard to save, and Immortals, they take a 4th round on the board.
Things are not going well. Let's put it that way. Things are not going well. It's 5-4. They still have a buy on the board, so it's not the end of the world. Uber will be able to get another rifle. We will have to limit his utility, and Ape, well, they finally challenge him over towards this B site, and the challenge has not really been met. Ape drops, doesn't do too much damage, and this is the play I like to see. Phelps is going to go very aggressive, doesn't even allow them to get a retake, but Henny's the one doing the damage, just firing off shots while his teammate pushes forward, almost as the sort of decoy at this stage, as Henny can just take the angles, doesn't have anyone looking in his direction, and well, in fact, I think the right decision is being called by Complexity. Fall away. There's not going to be too much chance to try and take this one back, and well, especially without a kit. This shot from Surreal, nice shot from Zeus, in fact, hits him headshot through the box, and well, Uber, he has retrieved the AWP, fake flash with the pistol, but Henny is there again to finish off one more. 5th round on the board for Immortals as things start to swing firmly into the Brazilians' control.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking very strong, and Complexity, they've had a few things crop up that would make them kind of be a little bit on edge right now. And, well, it is going to be an eco round on the cards from them. They don't have enough money to try and field the buy, so as a result, we've got a few deagles here and there. Mostly the CZ going to be in play, and then the 5-7 on Def. Good old original kind of weapon in usage. And we're going to be seeing a push in towards B. Straight off the bat, 3 players here in the form of Def, Ape, and Uber. It's not going to fight anyone, though, as the rest of Complexity out towards A are tasked with holding back all 5 members of Immortals. They take the site. Bomb's gone down. Not everyone's dead just yet, and Surreal is still very much alive and in the smoke. Just biding his time, but Lucas actually spots him out. Does give him a haircut for free, which I could definitely be in use of. And it's going to be a 4-on-5 for the retake. Surreal gets taken down. It's going to be a 3 versus 5 now, and the remaining members of Complexity, they're slowly just creeping around, having some fun, trying to come in from behind, trying to just field a little bit of economic damage. But there is Henny ready and waiting to try and shut this down.
Yeah, of course, they should have a buy in the next round, no matter what. So anything they save is, of course, valuable. And the closest player to them actually has an AWP, so maybe there's a chance. But, of course, for Uber, he can just save and actually get the Kevlar into the next round. And the Molotov coming in will stop any chance of them actually getting away. Well, Uber will take one with him. That's at least something. And, well, now he can actually just buy back up. Doesn't need to get the head armor. Of course, wouldn't really benefit him at all. And, well, it looks like we are going to have a little bit of a pause, possibly coming in from the Complexity side, just because they have now lost quite a few rounds in a row and they're going into their buy round.
Yeah, I reckon that will be the case. I mean, you've got 5 in the row right now for Immortals. Complexity being on the much more favoured side. There you go. The tactical pause is called in for Complexity. So, yeah, they need to try and address the issues that they've been having very early on. The key thing being, of course, is, well, I mean, they're being fragged out towards the A side is the obvious kind of answer to this.
A couple of reads as well. Just slightly off on some of their reads, like the one where they rotated Agi versus Pistols, and that was actually a round that they lost and shouldn't have done. So, yeah, well, they definitely made a few mistakes.
If you want to look at it, that was the round that kickstarted this whole spree from Immortals.
It was a big round in terms of the game.
The other thing as well is that you might be noticing is they're getting out on the A site, they're landing all these smokes, and Complexity, when that happens, they just peel off the site. They completely give it up.
I like the way they tried to challenge it the first time, where they did actually lose the round, but they were quite aggressive. They held it towards the electric box and took the fight to Immortals. It looked like quite a confident play to make. Then once they got the sort of AWP in play, it really just basically comes down to, okay, Surreal, you've got to get us a frag so that we have a man advantage, because in the sort of trading, or the purpose of the trading, Immortals are very, very good at it. They are going to just trade backwards and forwards and eventually win out the round.
Yeah, definitely so. So let's see if that little pause there is going to come in handy. Sadly, not for Surreal. He's going to be buried 6 feet under very, very promptly. Phelps finds the frag. Starts him off with a 1-man advantage as well on the side of Immortals. We're going to be seeing Def picking up the AWP to try and utilize the long range of the rifle to its fullest. We're seeing Immortals right now trying to spread out, take control of the map, not committed to anywhere just yet. They might find the pick on A, but it doesn't by any stretch of the imagination mean that is their final destination. Henny, meanwhile, speaking of final destination, over towards this, Ivy, has had a bit of a premonition that some death is coming his way, and there it is. Does take down Uber, who tried to go aggressive early on, out of Ivy. He's going to be promptly dispatched, and now Immortals looking to take advantage of this lead by moving it towards that B site, and that is such a good read because they lose so many players over towards A. Complexity have already had to rotate Ape off. He's no longer playing the anchor on that B site. It's going to be handed over completely for free to the T side, and they're looking to capitalize on that in every single way.
It almost looks like they're setting up a perimeter around the CT players. You've got players in every single angle. If they take over the B site, they will literally have them surrounded. And, well, it does give an opportunity for the CTs to get back into the round if they can pick off the players, and there's one. So already back to a 3 versus 4. If they find Zeus as well, this could have actually worked slightly in their favor. They know the bomb's gone down, so they are going to fall out and look to just go around. There's actually an AWP there, so something they can play with. They've already got one, so maybe going for the double ult setup could be the way they change up their play at the moment. The problem is, again, they're not really surrounded anymore. They have managed to get out into a corner, but with the rest of the map clear, Immortals with a decent amount of money, they are probably going to try and take these weapons out of their hand.
Oh, definitely. I mean, one thing that's going to give that away is if you just look at the map, you can already see they're fully on the hunt. Defo to find one in a Phelps. Ape as well takes down Zeus, so they're doing a good job of shutting down the hunt. The issue is, I mean, these are the definition of about the lowest impact frags you can have. You know, you're not dying. It's about the one thing you can take out of this. You still lose the round. You don't really do much to the economy of Immortals either because that is booming. You got $12,000 up on Henny right now. And, you know, everyone else kind of floating around the $6,800, $8,000 mark. They're going to be in a very good place regardless of how many of them you kill. So Immortals are going to be taking a 2-round lead. The double up setup on complexity, is that what they need to try and turn things back in their favor?
Yeah, this will be the attempt. Of course, Ape dying in the last second of that round was a little bit unfortunate. Burning down, taking a lot of control over towards B already on the Immortals side. They now got their 7th round on the T side, so their confidence is going to be absolutely through the roof. And, well, I can sort of see why. They are starting to dominate this map. Of course, this is a good chance for the CT side. As I said, they've got that double AWP in play. They have the rotator of Surreal, able to play over towards Connector. Now, it is very common for a Molotov to fly in his direction, but he should be ready for one. And there we go. Bolt will be the first to fall. Nice position from Abe. Actually going to almost grab two. Zeus is going to fall.
You've got to feel bad for him. He's going to get shot in the head. And as a result, that fall is going to be fatal. Takes him down, but Henny and Phelps looking to try and close the gap. Henny finds himself a 2nd frag. Still a lot of aggression coming out here. The Immortals player finishes it off, finds a 3rd, and that round looked like it could have so easily gone the way of complexity. Immortals just stepping up to the mark, well, more specifically, Phelps and Henny stepping up to the mark as they completely lock down that site. They pick up the double AWPs, and from that point on, I mean, it was hunting season.
Yeah, no, it was sort of one of those positions where you go, oh, they've got the 1st pick, okay, they've got the 2nd and, well, sort of the 3rd. One was traded out in the meantime, and then somehow everything just falls apart. They could have just gone for a retake as a team, but instead they sort of challenge individually, and, well, that's where you're not really going to win those duels. Henny is very, very good with the AWP. However, this round has started nicely for them. They're going to go with the Mag 7s and try and challenge, or just one, in fact. The rest of the players will have rifles, but Ape is quickly traded out. Def trying to do a little bit of a pot flash, actually getting shot by his teammate. Not going to be anything too damaging, of course. They did reduce the amount of damage you can do to teammates, so that's at least something. Lucas, again, another entry frag for him. He's been doing very well so far, actually pulling out frags onto the site. Android is there to trade. Trying to do a little bit more, but Zeus will drop him. Leaves a 3v2. T's in favor once again.
Yeah, Uber and Surreal are the 2 players you would want in this situation. Currently top fragging for complexity as they try to make their way towards the A site. Bomb does go down. Uber's going to get hurt out, but finds that frag out on a Zeus. Puts it into a 2-on-2. And now as Surreal makes his way down Pop, they have a nice split out on towards this A site. Henny, though, is going to be the real threat, ready and waiting to just completely demolish Uber if he makes his way out of Ivy. Just trained in there with the AWP. They're set up as well so that Henny could try and trade out for bolts if he goes down. As Surreal tries to make his way around, Henny's going to find the 1st frag. Now going to be going aggressive, trying to find a shot through the smoke. Uber does take down bolts, but he's still got Henny left to contend with, and all Henny has to do now is play for time. The bomb's going to be planted for him, and Uber knows that. He's going to get the hell out of there and try to save the M4.
Yeah, the Molotov falls on the bomb, and that's the moment he knows he's screwed. So he just retreats away, saves the rifle into the next round. Of course, max loss bonus will give them something to play with, but being on the CT side, there's no opportunity to get a bomb plant, so you basically just have to drop the head armor, try and get as much as you can, and, well, in Surreal's case, if you want any utility, go for a little bit of a 5-7. Actually, he's going to be dropped a rifle, so it's not too much of a problem in the buy. It's actually one of the more reasonable ones they've had in a while. The only problem is now, Immortals, they're already with 9 rounds on the T side. Very convincing so far, and, Bob, I don't expect them to exactly play much worse on their CT side. Either way, a little bit of a boost. Phelps will be finding the 1st kill with the AWP. Zeus actually going for a pre-fire. He's had enough of that spot being utilized, and, Well, Henny is going to go for the peek. The nade should dunk in and do a nice bit of damage, but not really anything he's going to be too worried about just yet. Will help the M4s out a little bit with the amount of damage they're able to do. Zeus, well, he's going to catch the pushing player, and it's almost as if Complexity, they've got themselves in a bit of a ruckus. They're down a man, so they try and counter that by getting a pick. They lose a second man, and now they're down 2. And, well, what do you do from this point? Clearly, 8's going to try and do the work, but Phelps, again, AWP will be there to trade.
Yeah, and once again, we see Surreal and Uber in a very, very familiar situation in a 2 versus 4, trying to retake on towards the site. This time going to be B, and well, as Surreal falls this time, it's all going to rest in the hands of Uber. Phelps is going to be coming up in front, though, takes him down with the AWP, and as a result, it's going to guarantee Immortals 10 rounds into the second half. So they're in a very good position. Of course, Train heavily CT-sided, some would say. So, you know, finishing off 5-10 is going to be less than ideal.
Oh, less than ideal is probably one of the kindest ways you can put that, especially the way they started. That's the most frustrating thing. They have the sort of 2 pistol rounds. That was okay. But they lose the 2 bomb plants. The point after that, where they then win a round on the 4th and counter back, was great. It was like, okay, this is reasonable. Then they win the next as well, and after the force, and you go, okay, maybe there's something here. And then they lose versus straight pistols because they abandon the site, and from there on out, it's as if the team changed completely and everybody just falls. There was the one-on-one as well, where Henny's able to just kill the player who could have just run away. I think that was Surreal in that scenario, and from that point onwards, it didn't really look like too much of a contest. Either way, they have moved on to the T side. They're going to employ a similar strategy to their opposition, almost guarantee a bomb plant, but already it is looking similar to what happened last time, Zeus and Henny starting things off with the first couple of kills. As said, the bomb will go down, but now they have to be ready for the retake to come in.
Yeah, and in the duel of death versus Lucas. Lucas with the duel, he's going to be trying to hold this one down. Meanwhile, on the site, his teammates putting in the work. Phelps and Bolts shutting down the play, and it's all on depth. 1 versus 4. That bomb's getting defused, and he's literally on the other side of the map trying to make his way up through. Finds 2 frags, but I mean, this is the only issue. He wasn't there when his team needed him. Now he tries to make his way through. I mean, the bomb's already been defused. I mean, I appreciate, you know, how optimistic you are. But, you know, getting the kills afterwards to try and avenge the bomb plant doesn't mean anything. He's going to go down. Does pick up 3 nice frags in the process, admittedly. But ultimately, Immortals only picking up the round. They do take the pistol and now trying to convert the next 2 as well on the anti-ecos.
What just happened? Did they just throw a Molotov at themselves? CT side clearly feeling they don't need the utility early in the round. They've only got 1 left, and it will just be saving for a buy at the moment. No early buy coming out from the T side. It will be Phelps to pick up the first kill, and there isn't really much invested, or left anyway, because they had a Deagle, and that's already been dropped. A couple of Glocks, 1 flashbang, and a P250 onto Surreal. Maybe an opportunity for a bomb plant. If you actually look at the position of Zeus, it does seem that that might be possible. Of course, I don't really know why he's there alone on the side when there's only 3 players left. You know they haven't invested. If this actually goes down, then that's actually a bit of a mistake by Immortals. They had so many players left alive. I don't really know why they had 1 player so far away. So in terms of complexity, that's actually quite a successful round.
Yeah, I mean, they do manage to field the bomb plant, and we saw Immortals do this early on previously. So, you know, it's going to leave Complexity with lots of money to buy up into the next. They should be able to get the AWP up on Surreal, as he's going to be sitting pretty with a decent amount of money in his pocket, as are the rest of his team, courtesy of the 2 bomb plants they were able to get. So thank you, Immortals, for that. But, I mean, it's still 5-12, and whether or not they do get the bomb plant, it is a minor victory. You know, we have to address the huge elephant in the room, and that is the 7-round score differential, and the fact that Immortals, they pick up the first 2 rounds anyway. So Complexity, they really, you know, they've got 3 rounds left to play with before they're at match point.
Yeah, and the other thing is the way that was so clean for Immortals, it basically means that they don't actually have to really buy anything up other than utility. So they would have another buy coming back in the next round anyway. So it is sort of one of those catches. Like, they could have stopped the bomb plant and basically reduce the buy that comes in, or they can keep the rifle and then they don't have to buy anything themselves. So either way, it's not too bad for either side. I just think that's going to help Complexity at least have a very solid buy going into this one. They're not going to opt to go for the AWP. It's all utility in this round, which is definitely something I can respect, but let's see how they actually utilize it. Are they going to go for some sort of a setup using the Molotovs to clear angles or in after plant positions? Because at the moment, they're just spread out across the map. It does seem more likely that they're going to head towards the A side, but it's very difficult to tell. In fact, well, these are smoke setup positions, so it's almost definitely that they're going towards A, unless they're going to fake it.
Yeah, I mean, while we're def over towards Pop, it's looking like they're going to be going for that split, like you say. They haven't taken control of Ivy, which is a little bit unusual. Normally, you like to see a player coming in there for the three-pronged attack. Zoos going to be able to find the first, shuts down Def, and as a result, they lose all that presence out towards A. So now it's looking like a fake is going to be shaping up as Uber slowly trying to get a peek through the smoke. Ape does find one out towards the A side, but it's going to get shut down, so the fake gets dismantled. It does all fall onto Henny on towards the B site. He's going to get taken down, though. Traded out. It's going to be 3-on-3 as bomb gets planted. Surreal tries to fall on back into the position to try and watch over the bomb, and it's also watching the flank while Android and Uber both trying to hold the site. Uber goes aggressive, starts pushing up towards Bolts. Able to find him through the smoke. Zeus, meanwhile, making his way up atop a platform. Uber's going to be able to find one, and Android takes down Zeus, and now it's all on Bolts. 1 versus 3. He's got a lot left to find, and not a lot of time to do it in. Does have the Famus, though. A fan favorite. He takes down one out onto Uber. It's going to be 1-on-2. Swaps it out for the AK. And now trying to just pick up a frag. But, I mean, if he doesn't get one soon, he is going to have to fall back and save. And, well, that timer now ticked down far too far. And he's going to be looking to fall back on towards the A side. So, Complexity, they do convert the rifle round into a win on the T side, which I think is very well played by them.
Yeah, no, they actually do make things work. And the big thing was after that sort of pick comes in, I was a little bit worried about what they do, but they're very quick to actually change their strategy. They go, okay, what's the chances that they have a lot of players on B at the moment? Pretty slim after all the smokes have gone in. Let's just rotate our strategy back over towards the B side. They find that opening pick very quickly, and that's going to give them the round. Now, they do actually lose players quite towards the end, so the buy for them is actually not that good. You've got Surreal, who's on a scout, and Ape doesn't have any head armor, which is always going to benefit any of the rifles that come up on the Immortals side. Now, a Mag 7 for Zeus does come down to a more positional play, and he is over towards that B site, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem, although he's not actually as close up as I'd like. I quite like seeing the aggression with the Mag 7 over towards the B site with a little bit of a support from a rifle, but that would involve moving their setup, and they seem pretty set on having 4 players over towards A.
Yep, currently 3 players for Complexity in towards Ivy, trying to exert some pressure early on. Uber as well is left back to watch the flank. Issue is Immortals trying to go aggressive. They push up Henny in towards A main. Ape is here to try and counteract it. But as Lucas is in behind, they are going to be able to trade out for this. And Ape could potentially get caught throwing the flash. Does find a frag on a Henny. Looking for the second as well, but Lucas there to trade things back. Put it into a 3-on-4. And currently, well, Complexity, they win control of Ivy, start trying to push on through. Phelps up close and personal with that AK. It's going to have to wreak some havoc here to try and hold this one back. Zeus rotating through CT as well. That B site completely open. Android able to find Phelps, so they're not phased by this. They keep devoting out in towards this A site. They're going to keep going, grinding against the grain as Immortals. They keep rotating through. Zeus does find one in the back of the mag, but that's going to be it. Lucas is all that stands between Complexity and this A site, and he's doing a great job of holding down the fort so far.
Oh, he's pushing into Uber, though. He's pushing straight into him, and that's going to be a nice little flank. Doesn't manage to pull off more after Uber's position comes out. And you sort of mentioned it at the time that Zeus rotated away to try and help out his teammates, but that's what happens when you abandon the B site. Eventually someone will take advantage of it. This shot from Def was just really nice, predicting the position of his opponent. And well, there we go, a 7th round on the board. So they've matched what they managed to do in the last few times they played. Now they're just going to try and bring this one back. Now, in terms of the economy of Immortals, they've actually managed to reset them on the T side. This is going to be a very aggressive push, though. A lot of players coming the way, and, well, so far it's actually just an even trade. The P90 should be able to mop this up fairly easily, though, and any sort of chance of that round going back quickly swindles. So now, well, the difference, it's only 4.
Yeah, I mean, Uber challenging his inner Silver 3, breaks out the P90, and uses it to completely demolish the ranks of Immortals. And yeah, no, definitely. And like you say, only 4 rounds now, the difference between them and Immortals. They've been able to get the last 3 in a row, and fairly convincingly at that as well. So now, as we head into round number 21, Immortals potentially starting to feel the strain here. I mean, when do you think they should start worrying?
I don't think they should. I don't think they should start worrying.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It's one of those positions where it hasn't been too many rounds in a row, and it's more just the Complexity have managed to beat them in a sort of close scenario. It's more the rotations as well. They've given up quite a bit of map control. Now they have a better buy on the board, and it's actually going to be Phelps to pick up the AWP. And again, he started things off with the first pick. In terms of their setup, nothing really changing other than a very passive position coming out from Zeus, almost playing for the retake on the B site. So they're not even going to have anybody aggressive in a sort of Taz-like position up close and personal. Player who sort of coined that very close position. But it could work out quite nicely. He is starting to push a little bit further forward because there hasn't been any presence towards the site. And as said, retaking the B site is more successful than it is not. So you have to say that maybe going for these more passive roles can work out. However, they have actually realized now that when they have the man advantage, it can actually work out to have a more of a rotation player in the form of Henny. So he is going to be supporting Zeus at the moment. And well, I think that's a good idea because the rotation is actually going to be making its way in. Of course, they can't know that. They've got to just try and predict. But with only 30 seconds left on the clock, very little presence coming in towards the A site. Normally, that suggests you're going to go one where you can plant the bomb pretty damn quickly, which, of course, is B.
Yeah, they're going to be making their way down this slope and well, straight to the site. Zeus trying to spray on through, does good damage, only finds one frag on the back of it though. They managed to get out, 10 seconds left. They have to try and get this bomb down. Surreal looking like he wants to try and line one up, finds one on the Phelps, looks for their second and he gets it. Now it's a 2-on-3. Bomb is planted
One
and
HP.
Uber 34 HP, trying to stay alive on the site. Speaking of trying to stay alive, Surreal only on 1 HP, still wreaking havoc, going to be picking up another frag. That's 3 for him. He's got to ace it for the win. 1 HP at a dream. He's already found 3, and he's been showing he's incredibly strong with this AWP. Flanking around from behind, though, it's going to be Lucas. He hears him out, gets caught with his pants down, turning around on the spot, and Henny is going to be the player to pick that frag up and secure Immortals their 13th on the board.
Yeah, they left that very late, the T side, but Surreal at least makes it interesting. They're like going for 2 nice shots and actually manages to pick up a third as well, so at least damaging that CT economy. They will retrieve the AWPs, so not too much of a problem for Immortals. And now we're waiting to see what the Ts will actually have on the board. Now, it's likely they'll have a buyback. Of course, keeping that round relatively close, I think it would be a little bit silly not to go for a buy into this next round as they have the chance to reset the economy. And well, there you go. It's going to be the Tech-9s. Well, it was 3. Now it's only 2. 1 already lost. Henny is just going to be firing away, and the taps coming out from Bolts as he's trying to find something through the smoke. The aggression from Surreal is not going to pay off, and they are shutting this one down. Not a single frag coming in for Complexity as Immortals destroy them.
Yeah, they get very little on the back of that one. In fact, they get nothing aside from completely demolished. We're going to be seeing Complexity now forced onto a situation where they have to make the decision, are they going to force or are they going to eco and try and force the overtime out of it? And while it's looking like a force buy is going to be on the cards, Tech-9s across the board, armor as well, like a bit of utility to try and play around with. As we head into round number 23, Immortals 1 round away from taking this to match point.
And he will be taking a little bit of a pot shot. Nade actually does the majority of the damage. Molotov will be thrown out. He's now the one fairly aggressive towards his site, just going to be trying to sort of style with that AWP. We do look towards the secondary AWP. We are waiting for the Ts to actually make their push onto the side. They've got the Tech-9s. They're going to try and get as close and personal as they can and then make the aggressive push. Well, Zeus this time will be waiting close. This is a bit of a surprise, but they managed to trade it out. Phelps now spamming away with the AWP, and the flank coming long range from Bolts enables the Ts to get that bomb down. It's not going to be the best buy in the next round no matter what. They want to try and win this round, but Phelps is just hitting shots at the moment. We highlighted Henny as the AWPer for the team, but Phelps, he's doing his job too. But as you say his name, he shall appear. Surreal is dropped an 8. Well, he's got to go crazy. Got to go ape, I suppose, for them to actually try and win this, and Lucas will finish him off too.
Yeah, that round going to be going the way of the Immortals in dominating fashion. The bomb plant could allow Complexity to field a bit of a better buy up into this round. I don't even think we're going to be able to see an AK though, unless they decide to, redact the armor and try to play, without the head armor. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe one player might be doing that, but I mean, up against the M4s, of course, you can't really chance it. So we are just going to be seeing Tech-9s once again across the board, leaving them with a good bit of money on the back of some of these players. Would have been nice to see something like a scout picked up, but we're not going to be seeing that today. Flashes and smokes out towards this A site. The aggressive play coming in from Complexity, trying to win some ground. Phelps there to find the first. Does take down 8. Lucas playing up close as well. Wreaking some havoc. Def able to find 1. Trying to keep his team in this. Keep the dream alive. But it's not looking good as Lucas. He's going the extra mile to try and put the final nail in the coffin. Finds a second frag. Looking for number 3. Android tags his teammate down a little bit, but then does pick up 2 huge frags with the tech. Now it's all on Henny. 1 versus 2. He tries to rotate in from behind. He's managed to get himself in a great flanking position here. No one's going to know that he's here. Oh, he spots 1 at 1. He knows where they both are. Takes the shot on a Surreal. Now he's going to pop flash himself out. It's going to hit, and he goes for the peek. Oh, Henny, that was so close. No.
It almost looked like an absolutely perfect play from Henny. Tries to go with the AWP, but now Android has a good opportunity. The nade is going to fall out, and he is left sitting there, almost shaking his head, because he should have won that. He should have won that. He played everything so perfectly, but just misses that final shot.
Yeah, that was so incredibly close and really well played by
Yeah,
Henny.
see
There
that
you go.
shake
Look,
of the head.
he was extremely sad and disappointed at the end of that one, as you can tell. But yeah, no, we're only seeing the Immortals picking up 2 AWPs yet again, trying to rock a double setup on Henny and Phelps. It's been working out incredibly well for them, so
They're both
if
top,
it ain't
so.
broke, don't fix it. And Surreal can be counter-AWPing up on the side of Complexity. We're only seeing him AWPing now on the T side.
Zeus is going to be the man close again. It looks like they're going to push straight through onto him. It's almost as if they found the weakness for this team. It seems to be Zeus at the moment, and he will fall with no impact whatsoever. But quickly, Henny is there to trade one back. Left in the open will be another, but he doesn't actually hit the shot. Now we see a few nades being thrown out. Phelps getting ready to peek as well. He's not really taking too much map presence, but it will be the push remover, and he's going to fall in the meantime. We look towards this CT side as they slowly pick apart the remaining players. Surreal is all that is left. He's had some decent moments in this map so far, but to try and clutch this one out, well, it's just more than he can do, and that's going to be it. Immortals will take this. It will be 16-9, so doing slightly better than what we've seen before, and a okay performance, in fact, from